Alright, budget magic time. Playing some Turbo Fog and mulliganing in standard. Okay, no card draw, but we'll try this. Not an ideal hand. Sanctum, we'll keep on top. Well, play Mountain, pass the turn. I guess we can cycle some of these hazes potentially to try to find Fevered Visions or Bounty or something. That's the main thing we're missing. Forest, Attune for our opponent. Also went to 6. We'll play Sanctum. Attune. We'll just grab a Plains. And pass the turn. What's our opponent on? Spire Bluff. Alright, so this is probably the... Yeah, this looks like the Marvelous Marvel deck. I'll play a Plains. Pass the turn. Getting Planeswalkered here could be pretty painful. Tireless Tracker. And Sheltered Thicket. Well, let's cycle into a Forest. There's a Bounty. So Forest and Bounty. That's a good draw. And we even have potentially a Fumigate for next turn. Opponent plays a land. Still slightly worried about a Planeswalker. Chandra would be annoying. Bristling Hydra. That's fine. Alright, this is going to be a good Fumigate. And our opponent doesn't have the mana to stop it. So we take 3, down to 17. We draw with Bounty. Play Ether Hub. Get an energy. And yeah, we definitely are just going to Fumigate away this board. Clear the board. Pass the turn. Commit to Memory would be nice at this point. Rogue Refiner for our opponent. And a tap land. I feel like we're in decent shape now, though. There's a cast out. Well, let's attune. Grab a island. Play the island. I think we're going to cycle Haze. And pass turn. So cast out's a good answer to a potential Planeswalker. Cracks a clue. We have used a few fogs for cycling, but we're at 20. Not under that much pressure. Opponent passes. There's what we were looking for. Well, play Lumbering Falls. Pass the turn. Now we have Commit, which can set up a wheel off the back half. Tireless Tracker. Yeah, let's commit it. I don't know if we want to wheel next turn. We'll see what we draw off our Bounty. We might. Oh, well, if our opponent's sacking the clue, then we're very likely to wheel here. Draw land. Oh, we get mana. Well, we're definitely wheeling here. I was reading our Bounty backwards. So let's wheel. Get a new hand. Kind of want to just play another Bounty. Opens us up to a Planeswalker. We have Approach. Yeah, let's play it safe and pass. We can Bounty in the future. We're in good enough shape, I think, that we don't really got to press our luck and go shields down and lose to something weird. Take 3. Yep. Down to 11. Heart of Kirin. Sure. Tap land and passes. So we get an extra card. Another Fog. Play Cinderglade. And I think we just fire off our first approach. Go up to 18. And pass the turn. We still have Fog mana up. And now we just gotta wait till we get to Approach again and we win. And I think we can stall until we get to Approach. We're at a high enough life total with enough fogs that we should be good. There's a Bristling Hydra. Yep. I think we will Fog here, though. Yeah, we're gonna go for it. So, Commencement, prevent the damage. Another Commit to Memory. Well, play Fevered. Actually, no. Well, yeah, we'll play Fevered Visions. Play Fevered Visions. Ether Hub. Get an energy. And we'll just pass. Ooh, more Fevered Visions. Well, we're just waiting to find that approach, and then that should be the game. Opponent goes attacking. Well, that's Commencement. Take 0. Opponent plays the tap land. Servant. Yep. That's fine. And opponent down to 18 from Fevered Visions. Well, another Fevered Visions. Pass the turn. I think we should get to it next turn. Our approach, that is. Gideon's intervention. Well, discard a commit to memory in case we got a wheel again in the future. And I think we got it. We get to draw 3 extra cards, which should definitely get us to approach. Opponent attacks. Let's just encircling fissure. Take 0. Opponent draws and draws. There's approach. And yeah, I mean, I guess we just cast approach. And that does it. Well, that was pretty easy. I'm assuming our opponent's going to bring in more counters from the sideboard, which could be a problem. So against this deck, what do we want? I think we can go down Essence Scatter. Not really worried about our opponent playing a Walking Ballista, especially. Maybe go up a Fumigate. And is this good enough? We got cast outs for the Planeswalkers, commit to memories. We might just try it like this. I feel like we're set up pretty well. The question's if we need to bring in a bunch more counters, and I don't think so. Yeah, I think we're just going to go like this. Alright. Well, we got double bounty. We can keep this. Opponent has Ether Hub. Our opponent, yeah, I feel like we're in okay shape here. Bounty's just so good. We'll see how many counters they brought in. That's our... I think the main concern is they're just super counter heavy now. But Sanctum, attune with Ether. Grab a... I guess we can grab our red source. Pass the turn. We should have mana to cast everything. Opponent attunes. Gets an island. And Shelter Thicket. Well, play Farmland. Pass the turn. Island for our opponent. Is it creature time? There's a tracker. Well, let's just Canopy Vista. Pass the turn. So hopefully next turn we can get down bounty number 1. Take 3 from tracker. And opponent just passes. Well, play the mountain. Yeah, we're going to go for it. If our opponent counters it, they counter it. Play bounty. Alright, there's a negate. But at least we got the negate out of our opponent's hand. Alright, tap land is okay. That's not what we were worried about. Was worried about untap land into Planeswalker. This is better. Ooh, and a Nissa's Renewal. Well, play Sanitarium. Play Fevered Visions. Pass the turn. Start the extra card drawing. Opponent cracks their clue. Alright, another land is fine. Opponent finds Lumbering Falls. Well, that's 4 more from tracker. That is a lot of damage. We are going to have to start stopping that at some point. Cast out's good. Let's play Ether Hub, pass the turn. Now we got lots of options. We might just end up casting Cast Out on Tireless Tracker when our opponent sacks the clue. And then our opponent has 0 threats on the battlefield. So we draw. Opponent cracks the clue. Well, they still have negate mana. We'll just wait. They might fire up Lumbering Falls to attack. Alright, another land. I guess is fine-ish. Sanctum gets a clue. Goes to combat. Well, alright, let's go for it. So, cast out to get rid of Tireless Tracker. Whirler Virtuoso. Okay. Can only make 1 Thopter right now. Draws a card. And I don't think we want to cycle Sheltered Thicket. We might actually want to play it. Or not. We drew an island. We'll play the island. Play Bounty. Alright, opponent does have another negate. So they did bring in a ton of negates. Opponent's going to Thopter. Another Fumigate. Well, that increases our odds of resolving a Fumigate. Opponent gets in. Down to 7. Tune with Ether, gets a land. I wonder how many negates they can possibly have. Lifecrafter's Bestiary. Yeah, that's a lot of card advantage. We better counter that. Opponent draws. There's Approach. Yeah, let's just Fumigate. third negate. Well, our opponent is pretty negate happy. Makes a Thopter. Well, I guess if our opponent has 4 counters in hand, we could just lose here. They brought in a lot more negates than I expected. Attacks, attacks, attacks. Well, let's Fog. Prevent the damage. Rogue Refiner. Draws some cards. Fevered Visions. Well, let's Fumigate. Harness Lightnings to get some energy. Oh, I guess they're trying to keep us from gaining life? That sort of makes sense. Well, play another Fevered Visions. Pass the turn. Fog and Fog. Well, we got ample Fogs. And we're still at 9, which is not super low. Glorybringer could be scary. Ooh, alright. Opponent just passes. Drops to 8. Now I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at. Opponent hard casts a Deep Fiend. Do we let this go? Problem is we can only Fog once. I guess we can loot. Let's loot with Gaia Reach. Discard Bounty. Opponent taps our lands. Commit to memory. Well, pass the turn. Draw some cards. Valving Wilds, Fevered Visions. Discard the Fevered Visions. And then upkeep. Cast Haze of Pollen. Cracks a Clue. Alright, damage prevented. Dodged a bullet, to some extent. Heart of Kirin. Servant. Opponent's trying to get in under our Fevered Visions. Servant. Yup. And we'll take Brawler. Well, I would love to just draw Wrath here. That would be sweet. Opponent drops to 6. Planes. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This might be too risky. Yeah, I think we play it safe. I don't think we miss this renewal yet. So let's see. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's just play Evolving Wilds. Pass the turn. Actually, let's crack Evolving Wilds. Get a land out of our deck before we draw. Get a forest. Draw, forest, and a tune. We can discard a tune. And then upkeep, we will Commencement. Prevent the damages. Ether Hub for our opponent. Lifecrafter's Bestiary. Yeah, I think this is fine. If our opponent starts drawing extra cards, that just kills them with Fevered Visions. So I think this is actually good for us. Yeah, opponent chooses not to draw. So all Bestiary is going to do is scry for the most part. Confiscation Coup for energy. Sure, I guess. Why not? I guess they're just trying to get out of cards, mostly. Let's commit the Bestiary. Draw planes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, play the planes. We could wheel. It's super risky. Yeah, let's just Nissa's Renewal. Get our last land. Go up to 16. Draw a couple. Cast out Gideon's Intervention. Stop on our opponent's upkeep. Haze of Pollen. Alright. Damage prevented. Whew. Okay. Rogue Refiner draws a card. We'd still like to find a Wrath. I think we do have to wheel next turn. Opponent plays Servant. Unless we just draw a Wrath. Then we don't. Opponent's just racing to get under this Fevered Visions. Oh, yep. Plays a Forest. Plays the Bestiary. Down to 1 card in hand. Staying alive. We draw Ether Hub. Well, play Ether Hub. Get an energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cast Memory. And I guess we just pass. The problem is we shuffled all our opponent's negates back in. Next turn we can try to fumigate as long as we live. Wouldn't mind drawing one more fog here, or a negate. Opponent harness lightnings. Trying to get in underneath those fevered visions. Cycles. Land. Come on, fog. And this is renewal. Alright, so we'll discard Lumbering Falls and I think just Ether Hub. On our opponent's upkeep, we will Commencement of Festivities. Opponent found a negate. We could be dead. If they found a second negate, then we most likely are dead. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Alright, let's see. Man, are we really going to lose after all that? Opponent goes to combat. Well, do they have a negate? Negate number 2. Did we shuffle them into 2 negates and us into only 1 fog? Alright, get rid of the deep feed. We take our beats down to 2. Whirler Virtuoso. Well, now it's all about this Fumigate resolving. Opponent can make a billion Thopters. Bristling Hydra. The good news, our opponent has a lot of motivation to tap out, because they gotta try to get empty-handed to not die to Fevered Visions. And another Heart of Kirin. Legend rules themselves. Drops to 4. Well, let's Fumigate. Whoo! Resolves! Play Cinderglade, pass the turn. I think we might be back in the driver's seat. Bounty. No fogs. Okay. Opponent gets to scry. They do have Lumbering Falls still. Whirler Virtuoso can make a lot of Thopters. A lethal amount of Thopters. So we do need to make sure that we... And a Glory Bringer. Okay. Cruise up Heart of Kirin. Goes to combat. Well, let's cast a cast out. Get rid of Glory Bringer. Take 6. Or 4. Down to 6. So 1, 2... Loot with Gaia Reach. Discard a land. Cycle cast out. Approach. That does not be infinite Thopters, though. We're kind of in a sketchy situation. Opponent was thinking about Elder Deep Feed. Makes a Thopter. Makes a Thopter. Thopter. Cruise Heart of Kirin. Oh, they're going to sack Heart of Kirin. Alright. Sacks Heart of Kirin. Here comes Elder Deep Feed. Opponent's at 2. We don't have to live much longer, but we still have to live through this turn. So I think we loot. There's a fog at least. Discard Bounty. A fog means we don't die as long as our opponent doesn't have a counter at least. And we have a ton more fogs to draw into. Forest. Well, play a plains. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, I think we just play Bounty. Pass the turn. Hope we draw into more fogs. Draw. Opponent's going to make Thopters. I mean, they have lethal. The question is, can they stop our fogs? Land? Alright, commencement. So that is a second fog. That's what we wanted. So fire off a commencement of festivities. Opponent found a negate. Fire off haze of pollen. If they somehow drew 2 negates, then they got us. Cycles. Alright, haze resolves. Man, we have been at the edge of our seat in this one. And we're still not guaranteed to win. Our opponent could die to Fevered Visions here. Rogue Refiner, that's actually not too helpful for our opponent. They draw a card. They have to be at 2 cards in hand to not die. Or Glory Bringer. Yup. Attune. Man, Wrath would be super good. Wrath or Fogs? Opponent draws, opponent draws. Well, that's a Fog. We get an extra draw. That's a Fog. So let's approach. Back up to 13. Play Ether Hub. Get an energy. Pass the turn. We're still dead on board. If our Fogs all get countered. Attune. Opponent makes Thopters. Attune. Ugh. Not good draws. So upkeep. Cast a Commencement. Oh, this match has been so epic. Commencement of Festivities. Alright, resolves. Not dying this turn. Opponent still playing the gotta stay empty-handed game. And now we have the countdown to finding a second approach. Opponent attune with Ether. Opponent has 15 cards in their deck. How many negates? 2 negates left, most likely. Another Whirler Virtuoso. It's also possible our opponent mills out, which sounds crazy, but it is a thing that could happen. Alright, well, we need to loot with Gaia Reach. Discard, attune with Ether. Opponent draws, opponent draws. Alright, another Fog is good. Mana's also good. Play Fevered Visions. Play Forest. Nissa's Renewal does nothing. So I guess we can just use Gaia Reach to loot. Another Fog. Discard Nissa. Well, discard Attune. We definitely can Attune. Pass the turn. I mean, we got 3 Fogs. That should be enough. Draw. Commit to memory. Draw. Approach. Draw. Kefnet. There's all of our finishers. Pass the turn. Upkeep. We will cast a Encircling Fissure. It resolves. And I think this should do it. I think we got there. Wow! What a match. Turbo Fog. Another Bestiary. Yeah, sure. With 3 Fevered Visions, our opponent has to get super empty-handed as well, or they just die to them. Well, crushing the tier of the format. Glorybringer, yeah, sure. That's fine. Want to draw some cards to your death? Can our opponent even get empty-handed enough to live another turn? Attune with Ether. Opponent passes. Fevered Visions triggers. Draws. Draws. And opponent found an instant. Oh, they're not dead yet. This match. What an epic match. Well, we untap. There's a Fumigate. We draw with Bounty. Well, let's just cast Fumigate. Sweep away the board up to 26. Follow it up with Kefnet. And approach. Approach gets negated. Well, play Scattered Groves, pass the turn. I think we're still good. I mean, we're shields down, but it doesn't... I can't imagine it mattering now. Opponent gets to do some scrying, because we're up to 26. So even... I mean, our opponent... Now it looks like... Even if our opponent doesn't die, they're actually just going to get milled out. They only have 6 cards in their deck. Alright, steals our Kefnet. Yeah? Alright, you got us. Not going to do much for them. They are managing to stay under the Fevered Visions, but their library is getting slim. They're at 6 cards, we're at 12. Rogue Refiner. Yep. Well, now I think we just descend upon the Sinful. Get an Angel. Keep the pressure on. Opponent, are they getting completely empty-handed? Bristling Hydra. I mean, it might be better to just commit and wheel, but they're so close to milling out. That's got to be wrong. Opponent draws. Draws, draws. We untap. Gideon's Intervention. Get some mana. Play Descend upon the Sinful. And we'll just pass. Draw. draw, draw. Discard Gideon's Intervention, commit to memory, Nissa's Renewal. Opponent's 2 cards left of their deck. Wow, we're just going to play through the entire deck. We're going to win by milling. I don't think our opponent can kill us now. Harness Lightning. Loot with Gaia Reach. Put our opponent to 0 cards. Got the GGs. Wow! What a match! What a match! I hope you like long ones, because that one was incredibly long. But whoa! Whoa, Turbo Fog. Turbo Fog, we found it. We found the secret to standard success. Thanks for watching the video. If you haven't already, take a minute and click that subscribe button. It's a great way to support the channel for free, and you'll find the next video in the playlist right here.